The park was nearly empty that afternoon. Just the sound of birds and the quiet rustle of leaves in the wind. Daniel sat on a worn bench, arms resting on his knees, watching the little girl on the swing set. She ran toward him, shoes thudding against the gravel, and stopped right in front of him. Her cheeks were flushed from play. She tugged gently on his sleeve and looked up at him with wide, searching eyes. "Can I call you Dad now?" she asked. Daniel froze. The world seemed to stop moving. His throat tightened. His heart raced. She was not his daughter, but those 4 words shattered something inside him and awakened something else he thought he had lost forever. Daniel Harper was 42 years old, though he felt older most days. His back ached when he bent down. His hands had the quiet stiffness of someone who had worked hard and spoken little. He wore the same brown jacket almost every day, and his shoes were always clean. Even when the weather was not, he worked as the evening janitor at Brookwood Elementary School. It was not glamorous, and it certainly did not pay well, but it was steady. And Daniel liked steady. He liked routine. It gave him something to hold on to. Years ago, he had a family, a wife, a son, but their child had died just weeks after birth, something no parent prepares for, something that tears through everything you thought was solid. The grief cracked their marriage like thin glass, and in time, they went separate ways. He never remarried, never tried again. He kept to himself, repaired the sinks, swept the halls, changed the light bulbs. He was invisible in the way only quiet people can be. Teachers passed him in the hallway with polite nods. Children barely noticed him, until Maya. She was 6 years old, full of energy, hair always in 2 bouncing pigtails. Her laugh was loud, but never annoying. She had a way of telling stories that turned spilled juice into epic disasters and lost pencils into heartbreaking mysteries. Maya was often the last child to be picked up. Her mother, Elena, worked 2 jobs and ran on exhaustion. She would always arrive breathless and apologetic. Maya never seemed upset. She would sit on the steps near the gym, humming to herself, feet swinging. Daniel began to notice her. At first, he kept his distance, offering a smile, a wave point. One day, her shoe was untied. She was trying to fix it with fierce determination, tongue sticking out, brow furrowed. Daniel crouched beside her. "Mind if I help?" She looked at him carefully, then nodded. "You are the janitor," she said. "That is right. You fix things." "I try." From that moment, Maya began talking to him more. About her day, about the girl who stole her purple crayon, about how she wanted to be an astronaut or maybe a cat doctor. She asked Daniel if he ever fixed broken spaceships or mended hurt animals. "No," he said with a chuckle. "But I once patched a hole in a classroom wall. That counts for something." Their interactions grew. Daniel would leave a small toy on the step, something he found in Lost and Found. Maya would bring him a folded paper heart. He showed her how to use a screwdriver. She showed him how to braid a doll's hair. They were an unlikely pair, but there was something natural in it. No pressure, no promises, just presence. Teachers began to notice that Daniel smiled more. He stood straighter. His eyes lit up when Maya ran past him in the halls. Elena, too, began to notice. One evening, after arriving late again, she found them laughing together over a lopsided paper airplane. "I hope she is not bothering you," she said. "Not at all," Daniel replied. "She is bright, like a little lantern in a dark room." Elena smiled. "She does that, even when I am too tired to see it." Daniel did not say much else. But that night, while sweeping the cafeteria, he found himself humming one of Maya's songs. He did not realize it then, but something inside him was beginning to shift. It started with a glance. One afternoon, as Maya sat on the front steps waiting for her mother, Daniel sat beside her, quietly tying her shoe. They were laughing, something about her calling the school principal king of the lost markers. During art class, a teacher, passing by from the parking lot, paused. She watched for a moment, then quickly looked away and kept walking. The next morning, Daniel was called into the principal's office. "Daniel," the principal said, folding his hands neatly on the desk, "we need to talk about boundaries." Daniel blinked. "I do not understand." A staff member expressed concern. The principal continued, avoiding eye contact. "About how much time you are spending with Maya during after-school hours. You are not authorized for supervision." Daniel sat very still. He felt the room tilt slightly, as if the ground beneath him was shifting. I was not supervising. I was just there, talking with her. Yes, but in today's climate, we need to be extra cautious. We are asking that you refrain from further interaction. Later that evening, when Elena arrived, the principal pulled her aside. Daniel did not hear what was said, but he saw the way her eyes narrowed, the way her lips tightened. She did not look at him. The next day, Daniel stayed away. He cleaned the gym floors while Maya waited silently on the steps. She looked toward the hallway where he usually appeared, but he did not come. On the second day, she tried to find him. She peeked into the supply closet, into the cafeteria, into the maintenance room. When she saw him mopping near the back doors, her face lit up. "Mr. Daniel," she called out. He paused, but did not turn around. "Mr. Daniel, look. I made you something." She ran toward him with a folded piece of pink paper. But just before reaching him, a teacher called her back firmly. "Come here, Maya." Now, Daniel looked down. His heart hurt more than it had in years. He thought he had learned how to live with loss, how to keep people at arm's length. But now, he realized, he had opened the door again. Just a little. And it was already hurting. That night, he sat in his kitchen, alone with a cup of cold tea, telling himself he had done the right thing. But his hands would not stop shaking. 3 days passed. Daniel kept to himself. He moved through the halls like a shadow, quiet, efficient, invisible once more. Then, one evening as he was locking up the back door of the gym, he saw someone standing outside the gate. Elena. She was holding 2 paper cups of coffee. Her eyes looked tired, but kind. "I figured you might still be here," she said. Daniel nodded once. "Everything all right?" She stepped closer. "I owe you an apology." He did not answer. Elena handed him one of the coffees. "I was scared," she said, "when the school called me. Scared I had been careless. Scared someone would take Maya from me. I did not even ask you what happened. I just shut it down." Daniel stared at the cup in his hands. "I understand. You are her mother. You were protecting her." Elena hesitated. Then she said softly, "But I should have listened." She looked up at him. "Maya has not been herself. She asks about you every day. She keeps saying she feels safe with you. She told me you were the first person who ever made her feel like she had a real dad." Daniel's breath caught. "She knows you are not," Elena added. "But that does not change how she feels." There was silence between them, heavy and full of things neither had the words for. Then Elena spoke again. "I am not asking you to be anything more than what you are comfortable with. But if you are willing, she misses you." Daniel looked at her for a long time. Then he gave the smallest nod. "All right," he said, but slowly. Elena smiled. "Slow is good." The weeks that followed felt different. Lighter. Maya would wait for Daniel again, but now under Elena's quiet blessing. Their conversations resumed. Talk of books, school lunches, and imaginary pets. Daniel fixed the wheel on her backpack. She showed him how to draw stars with 6 perfect points. One Thursday afternoon, she tugged at his sleeve with a shy smile. "We are doing a play next week. I am the moon." "The moon?" he smiled. "That suits you. You will come, right?" Daniel hesitated. He had never been to a school event since his own son's funeral. Maya tilted her head. "Please? It is only for a little while." He nodded. "I will be there." The night of the play, Daniel arrived early. He sat in the back row, clutching the folded program like a fragile thing. The cafeteria was decorated with cardboard planets and crayon-drawn stars. Parents chatted around him, but he felt distant, quiet, watching. Then she appeared. Maya, wrapped in a silver costume. Her face lit up when she spotted him in the crowd. She gave him a small wave before running off stage. The play was silly and sweet. Children forgot lines. Costumes slipped. But when Maya stepped forward and recited her part, she looked directly at Daniel. "My name is Moon. I light the night. I shine because someone believes in me." After the performance, she ran to him, costume rustling. "Did you see me? You lit up the whole stage," he said. She grinned. "This is for you." She handed him a drawing. Herself, standing next to Daniel, both under a giant star. At the top, written in wobbly letters, "My dad and me." Daniel froze. "I wish you were my real dad," she said softly. His throat tightened. He gently folded the picture, thanked her, and walked out. That night, he sat in the dark for a long time. Then, with quiet hands, he wrote a letter. The next morning, he left it with Elena. It read, "Maya deserves someone permanent. Someone who will not disappear like I have before." Thank you for letting me be part of her light. But I cannot be the one she calls dad. And just like that, Daniel vanished from Maya's life. Again. 2 weeks passed. Daniel returned to his old rhythm. Early mornings, quiet work, long evenings with only the hum of the heater for company. But something was missing. The tools in his closet gathered dust. The world felt colder, dimmer, like a light had been turned off and no one remembered to switch it back on. One afternoon, as he sifted through a pile of junk mail, a small, colorful envelope caught his eye. It was addressed to Mr. Daniel. Written in big block letters with glitter stickers on the corner. Inside was a folded piece of construction paper. Crayon lines filled every inch. A stick figure with brown hair stood beside a small girl with pigtails. Above them, in purple and yellow, it read, "You do not have to be my real dad. You are my heart dad." At the bottom, there was a drawing of the park bench where they used to sit. 2 small hearts hovered above their heads. Taped inside the card was the paper star from her costume. A little bent, but still shining. Daniel stared at it for a long time. The world blurred through his tears. He stood up, grabbed his coat, and walked out the door. The sun was setting by the time he reached Elena's house. He hesitated only a second before knocking. When the door opened, Maya ran forward without waiting. She threw her arms around his waist and buried her face in his jacket. "You came back," she whispered. Daniel bent down, voice barely steady. "If you still want to, you can call me Dad." From that day on, Daniel came back, not as a janitor, not as a visitor, but as something far more meaningful. Every weekend, they went to the park. Maya showed him how to swing higher than the clouds. He showed her how to skip stones across the pond. She insisted on holding his hand while crossing the street. Even when it was emptied, home, Elena welcomed him with quiet warmth. They shared coffee, slow meals, and stories that filled long silences with laughter. Slowly, a family began to take shape. Not by blood, not by law, but by choice. One afternoon, Maya stood on the porch with a scraped knee, blinking back tears. Daniel knelt and cleaned it gently. "You are brave," he said. "You taught me that." She replied that as time passed, Maya introduced him to others as her dad. No one questioned it. No one needed to. Daniel's co-workers noticed a light in him they had never seen before. His eyes were steadier. His hands no longer shook. He framed the crayon drawing she had sent him and hung it in his hallway. Every morning, before leaving the house, he looked at it and smiled. In a world that had once broken him, one small voice had given him back the one thing he thought was gone forever: belonging. Sometimes, family is not something you are born into. Sometimes, it is something you grow into, one laugh, one scraped knee, and one brave word at a time. If this story touched your heart, please give it a like and subscribe for more emotional, soul-stirring stories about love, healing, and chosen family. We truly love reading your comments. Tell us, where in the world are you watching from? Your stories, your words, and your kindness inspire us every day. Until next time, stay kind, stay open, and never underestimate how much one connection can change a life.